Donald Trump is constantly raging online about someone or something. It doesn't take much to set him off. But what's rare is when his anger turns inward toward his own party, which is exactly what happened tonight. He went on a full-blown tirade on Truth Social, firing off some of his wildest posts yet. And this time, his target was Senate Republicans. We're going to break down Trump's latest meltdown and what it reveals about the ongoing government shutdown, which he's now clearly feeling the heat from. But before we dive in, please take a moment to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It really helps support what we do here. Now, before we look at Trump's attacks on his fellow Republicans, let's start with someone who perfectly captured their weakness and failure. Former President Barack Obama speaking today in Virginia. Take a look at this clip.
You know, a lot of people have asked me lately whether I'm surprised by the direction the country's taken. And even though I am the hope and change guy, I try to be honest with them. So I say yes, there are things I am worried about. I am worried about how quickly basic democratic rules and norms have been weakened. I'm worried about how willing Republicans in Congress have been to surrender their role as members of a co-equal branch of government, refusing to buck the president even when they know he's out of line. Even when a lot of them will privately admit that power is being abused in ways that will hurt their constituents and hurt the country. I worry about a Supreme Court that, so far at least, has shown no willingness to check this administration's excesses, even when those actions break legal precedent and seem to defy the bedrock principle that no one is above the law.
These are the same guys who never stop talking about how tough and manly they are. Yet every single time they cave to Donald Trump. And not just to any version of Trump, but to a former failed businessman and reality TV host who built his image on bluster, not strength. There's nothing intimidating about him. And still, out of fear of a single angry post, they crumble. It's humiliating. Trump insulted Ted Cruz's wife publicly, and Cruz still bowed down to him. Mike Johnson has gone even further, practically handing control of Congress over to Trump, who's bragged about it himself, saying Johnson does whatever he wants. And that's exactly why we're facing a government shutdown right now. Because Mike Johnson's priority isn't governing, it's protecting Donald Trump from accountability. They'll resort to any attack, no matter how dishonest or cruel. From blocking the swearing in of Representative-elect Adalita Grajalva to pushing racist narratives about programs like SNAP that help working families. And President Barack Obama didn't hold back when he called out that hypocrisy in this clip right here.
They've devoted enormous energy to trying to entrench themselves in power and punishing their enemies and enriching their friends and silencing their critics. They put on a big show of deporting people and targeting transgender folks. They never miss a chance to scapegoat minorities and DEI for every problem under the sun. You got a flat tire? DEI. Huh. Wife mad at you? DEI. What they have not devoted energy to is helping you. They have not put forward serious proposals to lower housing costs or make groceries more affordable. They haven't improved our schools. They haven't made healthcare more accessible. They haven't shortened your commute or prepared young people for the future where AI might take their job.
I am so glad that President Obama is bringing attention to just like the vile bigotry that we see right now in the Republican Party trying to defend itself amid this shutdown, which disproportionately Americans understand is their fault. And of course they do. They have the House, they have the Senate, they have the White House, and they can't get done. So instead of actually trying to negotiate and maybe not slashing health care, they've gone to the old playbook, and they're saying, oh, well, it's just the welfare queens using SNAP because, people who make less than a living wage can't afford to live. It's not people abusing a system. It's a ridiculous argument to make. But with all of this, with Donald Trump understanding that SNAP is a problem for him, that the shutdown is a problem for him, he's lashing out. And it's Senate Republicans. As we see in this post, Trump wrote on Truth Social, remember, Republicans, regardless of the Schumer shutdown, the Democrats will terminate the filibuster the first chance they get. They will pack the Supreme Court, pick up 2 states, and add at least 8 electoral votes. Their 2 objectors are gone. Don't be weak and stupid. Fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win. We will immediately end the extortionist shutdown, get all of our agenda passed, and make life so good for Americans that these deranged Democrat politicians will never again have the chance to destroy America. Republicans, you will rue the day that you didn't terminate the filibuster. Be tough, be smart, and win. This is much bigger than the shutdown. This is the survival of the country. You will rue the day you refuse to end the filibuster. Remember how many exhausting conversations we had about it with Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. Thankfully, they're both gone now. Sinema can go lobby for tech companies, and Manchin can get even cozier with the oil industry than he already was. I'm honestly relieved we don't have to hear from them anymore. All we ever heard from them was about the institution. Oh, the filibuster, it's sacred, it's tradition. Please, it's not in the Constitution, it's a relic of racism, and it was always used to block progress. Republicans hid behind it to stop a $15 minimum wage and voting rights protections during the Biden administration. But now, Donald Trump is telling Republicans to end the filibuster, to terminate it, so they can push through his extremist agenda. I want everyone to remember that. Because when Democrats are back in full control, the White House, the House, and the Senate, Republicans will suddenly start pretending the filibuster is holy again. They'll demand we respect the institution, but we shouldn't. Not when they've shattered every norm themselves. They're literally tearing down democratic institutions, and we're still told to be bipartisan. I don't buy it. I won't pretend that people who deny the basic dignity of others, especially trans people, people of color, or working families, are legitimate partners in democracy. These are the same people willing to watch the country burn for another billionaire tax cut. Joe Biden's presidency began with the idea of healing the soul of America. That was a noble goal, but healing doesn't come from ignoring injustice. Merrick Garland hesitated to hold Trump accountable out of fear of political optics. And that hesitation only empowered those destroying the system. Protecting the institution by refusing to act doesn't preserve democracy, it weakens it. So next time Democrats are in power, we can't be paralyzed by fear of bad headlines or the Senate parliamentarian. Trump wants to abolish the filibuster to hurt people. We should be ready to do it to help people, to pass universal health care, a living wage, real climate action, and strong gun safety laws. Forget the optics, forget the norms. It's time to fight back for justice, for progress, and for a democracy that actually serves its people. And that's exactly what Barack Obama reminded us of in his recent speech, especially in this powerful clip right here.
But But what I also tell people when they ask me about this, what I also try to remind them, is that America's always had competing stories about who we are and what this nation stands for. The first story says, we the people, just means some of us. That in order to qualify, you have to be the right color, or come from the right family, or worship in the right way, or have enough money. It says that even though we got rid of a king, there's still a caste system in America, a pecking order of who makes decisions and who obeys, who gets opportunity and who is obliged to serve. And it's a story that's policed by fear and force, that tries to convince people that for their group to win, another group has to lose. That if somebody doesn't look like you or think like you or practice religion exactly the same way you do, they must be a threat to your way of life, and they need to be put in their place. And that's how Donald Trump thinks about America. Make America great again by putting the people like him back in charge, even if they don't know what the hell they're doing. Now, but here's the thing. That story is not new. That's the oldest story in the book. It's not even uniquely American. For most of human history, that's the way society's worked. There was somebody on top and somebody on the bottom. There were lords and there were peasants. And for a long time, that story of caste and privilege and concentrated power, that was the law of the land here in America. If you looked like me, you were likely treated as property. If you were a woman or a white man who did not own property, you could not vote. For a long time, if you were an Irish or Italian immigrant, we're not hiring. If you're Jewish or Asian, don't bother applying to our school. If you were Native American, you weren't even treated as an American, even though you were here. But from the very start, there was another story, born of this nation's true revolutionary spirit. A story that says we the people means what it says, that all of us are included, that we are not subjects, we are citizens.
We're facing a different kind of fight now, one that demands more urgency, more persistence, and more courage than ever before. And we're going to meet that moment right here on this show. If you want to support what we're doing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. If you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I will see you soon.